You've tuned in to When Your Mind Becomes the Scene of the Crime podcast. I'm Dr. Linda F. Williams. I take survivors of abuse and trauma from pain to purpose so that you take back your power, tap into the truth of who you are, and live your best life now. While I'm away resting my voice, per doctor's orders, I thought I'd take you on a flashback to February of 2018 when I was interviewed by Teresa Blakely. Enjoy the interview.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to In Life Now Radio with your host, Teresa M. Blakely, aka Coach TMB. You're listening to the hottest radio station here in West Michigan. As a matter of fact, if you didn't know, we're the #1 urban radio station here, Magic 104.9. Well, in this second part of the show, family, I'm telling you, we are in for a supernatural treat. I have here in the studio with me Linda F. Williams, who is the owner of Whose Apple Dynamic Coaching and Consulting, and she has also penned a phenomenal book entitled Whose Apple Is It Anyway? So I want you to hold on to your seats because I'm telling you, this lady, she is going to bless your socks off on today. But before I bring her live into the show, I must do her justice because she's like an icon to me. She is. So I want to read just a little bit of her bio, just a little snippet, so you can get a feel of who we are about to experience. Linda is a trained psychotherapist, behaviorist, and motivational speaker. Linda is a nationally recognized lifestyle and business expert. She has also contributed to CNN Money, Madame Noir, Glamour Magazine, Main Street, American Express, Open Forum, and Brides. So, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the one and only Linda F. Williams.
I want to laugh over here. I want to know, who is that? I want to meet her.
It's you.
It's so good to be here. I've looked forward to this for so long.
Oh my God, you're right. This has been almost like a lifetime in the making. I don't want to say dying, but I have been looking forward to having an opportunity to have you on camera or behind the mic. So we got you behind the mic today.
That worked for me, my friend. That worked for me.
Yes. So listen, Linda, before we just really dive off into the show, for all of those people who are driving in their cars on this beautiful Sunday afternoon, or they're listening to you from their computers or phones, and I just hyped you up. Introduce to everybody and tell them a little bit about yourself, who the woman Linda F. Williams is.
Linda's still she's evolving. I spent a lot of years divulging. I've gone through a lot of healing. As you and I have spoken, Teresa, when I wrote that book, it took me 7 years and 6 days to complete it. And that period of time was tremendous healing for me. It was only within that process that I began to even catch the vision of, what the heck am I here for?
Wow.
And how do I get on board with what God created me for? In other words, I was really stuck on stupid on a lot of levels and totally clueless. I mean, totally clueless. So today I am a woman who has learned in my older age the importance of staying in my lane.
Oh, yes.
Paid a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to figure out what the heck that lane was. And I'm now back to who God created me to be. I care about people, Teresa. I want for nobody else that crosses my path to ever have to go through the hell that I went through in order to come back to who God created them to be. And when I came through that healing, I determined that the only thing that I could do to get back at my past was to make it count. And I determined that in order to make that count, it meant that Now that I'm healed, now that God has gone straight to the spiritual bone on that, now I'm not hiding behind shame and guilt and hurt and self-loathing. I can speak my story. I can speak my voice, and I can be there for somebody else who's right in the trenches instead of shying away from that because it's triggering something in me. So what you have standing here before you is a woman well into her blood, we won't say. Okay.
You are
who
too
is
funny.
just beginning to live.
Wow.
I mean, when I say that, there's just something in me that just, it was almost like a breath of fresh air just blew through my spirit, because now I'm free to live.
You're free to live
the life God meant for me to live.
Wow.
And once I got a higher vision of purpose, Teresa, it solidified. It was like standing in a hurricane with concrete in your heels.
Oh my God. I just gotta interrupt for just a minute. Reggie just left us talking about a hurricane.
You gotta be kidding.
So I know today is right on point.
Yeah, that had to be God, because it's like you know that those winds are blowing you. You're not gonna even be able to stand in your shoes. But once you get vision of your reason for living.
Come on.
And it's like having concrete poured into your shoes.
Yeah.
Quick.
Yeah.
And it's poured in there. That sucker's solid.
Yeah.
So you can blow till the cows come home. I'm not moving.
Oh my God. I love it. I love it. You know what? You said something to me and it just resonated with me before we went on the air. And I think this is a great place to talk about this. Mm-hmm. But you talked about moving through the pain. Mm-hmm. Moving through the pain. Which created the avenue, if you will, for your healing. Mm-hmm. Listen, you've already blessed so many people with just that little bit that you just said already. But listen, Linda, there are some men, there are some women who are listening to you right now, and they are right in the midst of whatever that pain is that they're dealing with. Mm-hmm. And you know how you're in that thing, and you know you're on the other side of it now, but you're in that thing and you can't see no way out. And you get to that place where you're about to crumble and give in. Talk to those people right now, because somebody needs to hear your voice today.
I'm going to try not to choke up on this. It's really something, because this morning I was sitting up thinking about those times in my life where I felt so hopeless, I just didn't want to live.
Wow.
You're in so much pain that you feel like the only way out of this, just let me go to sleep and not wake up. And I know there are people out there hearing this right now and hearing that you're in the middle of that pain. All I can tell you is that it's a smoke screen. Ooh. It's a smoke screen. The fear and the hopelessness that you feel is a smoke screen.
Smoke screen.
You know that if you have a screen of smoke before you, all you got to do is move through. It looks worse, but when you move through, there's no resistance to that.
Wow.
And so what I'm telling you is, on the other side of that, destiny's hollering, you can do this. You can do this. Also, it's on my heart to tell you in the middle of that, because I feel like I'm talking to somebody who's really in the trenches.
Yes,
right
come
now.
on.
Focus on what you can control. Again, I'm going to say that again. Focus on what you can control. Hopelessness finds power when we try to control things we cannot control. I want you to recenter to your sphere of control. That excludes everybody but you. There's nobody in your sphere of control but you, and you need to focus there. And within that centered spot, what's my next best move? What's my next best move? What can I do? What is within my control to do? And then it's also on my heart to tell you that it's the stories we think are too true to tell that are holding us hostage. It's like the devil's got his hand over our soulish mouth, knowing that if we open our mouths, that breaks the grip of that past on us. So somebody out there needs to talk to somebody right now. Please. You need to talk to somebody right now. I understand you don't trust anybody with your story, but trust me, when it gets in the trenches, it's time for you to talk. God put somebody there that you can talk to.
Yes.
And you just need to ask him, Lord, who?
Lord,
where is this purse?
Wow. Oh, I just got a chill when you said that. Now, I want to just say this, family, and then Linda is just going to keep on going. There's this stigma within the Black community about seeking out mental health services. You're a psychotherapist amongst a host of other things. I had an opportunity to talk to another guest a couple of weeks ago who was on the air, who really went there in the topic of mental health and how she did it, and she's currently still using these services and just how it has helped her be the woman that she is today. I want you to talk for a few moments about getting those mental health services, whatever that looks like for the individual.
Very important. You have to do it. I've been there myself in some of those trenches where I felt like killing myself.
Yeah.
It had gone beyond just wanting to die at some point. And the only thing that saved me was my therapist. Okay.
Wow.
Now, some of that is just historically ingrained with respect to the African American community being distrustful of health care. Mrs. Evers' boys was one thing,
yes.
The syphilis thing. I'm going to ask everybody to just come to the here and now. The bottom line is this: your destiny cannot deny you, but you're going to have to get on board with that destiny. And sometimes that means you have got to go out and get this help. Don't be ashamed of it. Do what you got to do. There are plenty of laws in place to protect your privacy, but you need to reach out to somebody who's skilled in walking you through that, because some of the trauma that we're stuffing, it's so convoluted that we need a skilled individual that's going to be able to walk us through those layers. Now, Christian people who are thinking that that's the devil or devilish and not Christian, then you need to ask the Lord to show you a born-again Christian psychotherapist. Okay.
How about that?
Right? Okay. But get the help that you need. I'm just asking you, do it afraid. Do it anyway. You got to do it.
Do it anyway.
Yeah, do it afraid.
Do it afraid.
Yeah.
And I've experienced, getting that help. And, oh, my God, did it help me?
See?
Did it help me?
See?
Yes.
Okay. And when you think about what coming through that, it's just a series of epiphanies that you have when you're with a trained therapist. Mm-hmm. Things are coming. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. And then she asks you a few questions, and it helps you to really put everything in proper perspective. So I'm just going to tell you guys, I would not be sitting here had it not been for my seeking that kind of help.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. One of the things that you shared with me, and I can identify with this, but one of the points that you brought out, Linda, is that it takes you off focus when you choose to stay in that pain. Mm-hmm. It takes you off focus, and it blinds you to your personal vision.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, God doesn't create a thing without a purpose. And so when he thought of us in his heart, he knew where we were going to fit in the master plan. That's the hope we lose when we're in the trenches. You're so focused on the subterfuge where you're playing whack-a-mole with all kinds of mess going on in your life. Every time you take care of one thing, something else pops up, and then you handle that, and it pops up. The bottom line is this. Any ploy of Satan is simply this, to get you off focus. Wow. Because he knows once he gets us off focus, he's got our entire destiny on lockdown. We are not going to see it.
Wow.
Now, I understand that when we say the devil is busy, that basically what that's saying is that he's popping up all over the place like a game of whack-a-mole. Okay? But his core strategy is always just to keep us off focus. Stolen focus means stolen vision.
Stolen
vision
focus
means stolen purpose.
Wow.
And stolen purpose means stolen destiny all day long. While destiny comes out of the heart of an immutable God, he's not changing, flipping the script on that. Destiny cannot deny you. But when we fall prey to this off-focus thing, which comes in many different ways, it bears many faces, then we've had our vision stolen.
Wow.
Destiny's still waiting on us.
Destiny is still waiting on us. After all of that, it's still there waiting.
Look, and you can leverage all that pain, but you got to come through healing to be able to do that.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Listen, family, if you're just now turning on Magic 104.9, you have just tuned in to In Life Now Radio on, get this, #Impact Sundays on your #1 urban radio station here in West Michigan. This is your host, Teresa M. Blakely, a.k.a. Coach TMB, and listen, you are listening, you are experiencing, because I know y'all curious, who is Coach talking to today? We got the phenom, the icon, Linda F. Williams of Who's Apple Dynamic Coaching and Consulting. And I'm telling y'all, she's top notch. She's world renowned. So you might want to just sit on down for a minute, or if you're driving in your car, you might want to just pull on over and park for a minute, because she about to bless your socks off. Because I know you're curious. We know you're curious. So we need you to just focus for a minute.
Feel me?
That's it. So listen, Linda, you have, there's so many accolades that you are embracing, but you are a published author.
Yes.
And the name of your book is Whose Apple Is It Anyway? Empowering Purpose to Achieve Your God-Ordained Destiny. Where did the thought come to create this book?
10 years before I even put pen to paper. When I was, you'll read the back and you'll know that I was married to a man that turned out to be a sexual predator and a rapist. And so he went to prison after we got a divorce. Some 5-10
You've
years.
already just blew somebody up right there. I felt it.
It's Reader's Digest version, y'all. Yeah, so it was a conversation he and I had after church one day years before the divorce, and we were talking about men and women in the church and how they need to learn balance in their marriages. And so we decided, okay, we'll write a book. You write the side for, I was going to write the side for women. He was going to write the side of the book for men. And it was going to be called, It Ain't Adam's Apple. It ain't all about Eve, and it ain't all Adam's apple. So It Ain't Adam's Apple would be for women. It Ain't All About Eve would be for men. And it would be this book that you would just flip it over for the male side and then flip it over for the female side. Forgot all about it. Sister calls me September 17th, 2005. Linda, you're going to write a book. I'm saying, like, can you say hello, please? And she said, yeah, but she said it's only going to progress as you heal. That was 7 years and 6 days it took me to write that book, because I had so much trauma from rape, trauma from domestic violence, just trauma that I had stuffed. But every time I hit a writer's block, it was because, okay, Linda, I got to heal you. You got to shed another layer. And if that shedding that layer took months, weeks, whatever, that I didn't move forward in the book until I had shed another layer. And that's why it took 7 years to write that book. And the book isn't just about me. I'm not writing a memoir. This revelations God gave me as I walked through that healing. And I've got to tell you, I couldn't force a word in that book, could not force it. It had to be by the unction of the Holy Spirit. And so it was a 7-year journey of shedding a bunch of stuff and stuff, coming through some post-traumatic stress.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm looking at the titles and you know, I'm just absolutely loving this conversation with you. One of the and it's the very first chapter, but it's entitled The Root of the Matter. How important is getting to the root of the matter? Because that's the only way you'll be able to heal, yes or no? I
think that what we do is chase symptoms. I learned early on the cure to anything. Just take this with y'all, you guys. It doesn't matter what the situation is. The cure to that situation is found in its cause. That's what I mean by going to the root of it. You can chase symptoms all day long.
All day long.
And you will be taking your last breath chasing these symptoms. But when you go straight to the cause of the problem, which is at the root of anything, then once you address the root of that, symptoms fall by the wayside, like apples falling off a tree.
That's rich. So so come on, doctor, I need you to, you know, I always call you that. It's coming. It's coming.
I'm working on it.
But listen, let's go there for a minute, because you have somebody's ear right now. Symptoms could be a drug addiction of whatever sort, heroin, crack, whatever, alcohol. A symptom could be a sexual addiction, right?
Yeah.
But all of these symptoms are manifesting because the person is not dealing with the what?
The cure, the main cause, and those are really good ones. But I don't want to leave out the fact that if you see any repetitive patterns in your life, that's a symptom.
Ooh, that's
and see,
rich.
a lot of us, there's a lot of highly educated women, very intelligent women, who wind up in cyclical, toxic relationships.
Oh,
that's
my.
a pattern. So any pattern that you have in your life, whether this relationship is man, woman, whether it's your career, whatever, repetitive patterns are symptoms. Okay. And so you need to go deep into I say in the beginning of the book that the path of purpose is paved with healing. Healing goes as deep as the wound, or only as deep as you let it.
Or as deep as you let it.
You have to allow that deep down healing, which means you have to face a lot of stuff that you felt like you couldn't turn around and face.
Yes.
And that shouldn't make us fearful. It's a smoke screen.
That's
smoke
right.
Screen, you walk through them.
That's right.
I didn't feel any resistance.
That's right. And you mentioned that earlier, you know, when we started out the show about, you know, what you personally walked through, in a nutshell. It's bigger than this, but it was a nutshell. And so one of the things that stuck out to me in our conversation before we went on the air is that you said these things basically are all a part of the cosmic master plan.
Right. So we come here with a purpose. God created us for a purpose. Jeremiah 29:11 tells us what his predestination is for us. We come here fully equipped. Personality, character, natural skills and abilities, the stuff we do as easily as breathing, and we do with excellence. We come with this toolkit. It's our spiritual birthright. And as we go through life, you know, brokenness breeds brokenness. And if our parents didn't deal with their traumas, then we were reared in that trauma. And so basically life twists us up. Every time it hits us, we get knocked off our path of purpose. That morphs us out of our God-given character. Okay, we get morphed, all right? And its insidious progression leaves us blind to what's happening to us. That's just my personality. That's just who I am.
Oh my God, I've heard that so much.
Oh, don't you know that? You know that's not what's in my heart. You know my heart. You know, please. So once we get morphed, then our tools become weaker.
Oh my God.
So all of the natural skills and abilities, the things that it's given us, the way we think, even that, those tools become less effective in our life or anybody else's life, the more morphed we are. And so this healing process unmorphs you, makes you, for me, I had to go back and get the little girl I left in Hart, Michigan, decades
I remember
ago.
you told me that.
I had to go back and get that little girl.
Oh my God.
The me that I turned my back on, and it took 40 years for me to recognize that by turning my back on her, I turned my back on myself. And so once I decided that I was going to go back and bring her along, then I became the full person. I couldn't leave all of that character. She was more than enough as she was. Okay?
Wow.
But no, me being tough girl, put on this tough girl suit. Girl, it was not pretty. I don't know what to tell you.
That is amazing. And that's why being authentic in this day and hour is like imperative. I don't care what type of business you have. Yeah. You need to be authentic because that's what people are in need of and what they're looking for. They are. So listen, Linda, we don't have much time before we got to go off the air. I don't want to let you go. This has been good. Oh my God, this has been good. But listen, I need you to take a moment and let people know how they can get in contact with you. Somebody wants to bring you in to come and speak. We got a lot of folks that want to get their hands on your book. So tell them, where do they need to go?
Just Google Linda F. Williams. That's again Linda F. Williams. Google me, and you can't miss.
You cannot miss. Well, I'm telling you, today you hit a home run.
Oh,
you hit a home run on In Life Now. We appreciate you. We appreciate your gift. We value you as the phenom, the icon that you are. Thank you for being a guest.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been my honor.
All right. Well, listen, family, that's it. That's it. I know y'all want.
Thank you for joining me today on When Your Mind Becomes the Scene of the Crime podcast. Schedule your free breakthrough session now at lindafwilliams.com. That's lindafwilliams.com.